Destruction All-Stars just came out for free on PS Plus if you got a PS5, and it is a very unique game that mixes elements from a hero shooter genre and a vehicular combat demolition derby type. Now, is that enough to make it stand out and gain a fan base? What's going on, my dudes, and welcome to the Onestep channel, where today we're going over the new PS Plus game that is free this month if you got a PS5, Destruction All-Stars. Again, a hero shooter genre type that mixes itself with vehicular combat demolition derby style, and we're going to be going over, is it enough to make it unique enough to stand out and really gain a fan base? We're going to be going over all the pros and cons that we saw today over Day 1 edition. If you guys want to stick around for more gaming content, do subscribe. We do new videos every single Friday, and we do stream twice a week. Now, let's get into this very unique, fun, bright game, shall we? So let's start off probably with one of the biggest pros about this game, my dudes. It is free. It's a free game. You can't really go wrong with free, because even if it's a terrible game, it's still free. So you don't really spend any money on it. You're not too mad about it. It's just a free game. You download it. It's free. Now, the one thing about that, though, that I will say, it's only free if you got a PS5. I wish they would have made it cross-play or cross-platform and made it free for both PS4 and PS5, thus expanding the audience and the players that can actually play the games. But for now, unfortunately, it's only free if you got a PS5. I think you can only even play if you got a PS5. So, I mean, that is what it is. Along with that, the game is very bright and fun and unique. It's got bright colors, fun music that makes it really intense at most times. But there really isn't a lot to do besides just wrecking. It is a demolition derby type, and they've tried their best to mix in some game modes and some different kind of maps, but they aren't unique enough maps or unique enough game modes to really take away from the fact that all you see and all you do is really just wreck, which is fun for about 20 minutes until you really start to go, okay, I want to do more. I want to destroy more. I want to have more variety in what I'm doing, and they just didn't give enough variety, in my opinion, on the maps. All the maps are very similar with a couple of different things, but I wanted to see more in uniqueness when it came to the maps. I wanted to be in different arenas, if you may. I wanted to maybe be in like a jungle or a forest, or maybe even a desert that has, you know, this, or maybe more fire, or more, you know, traps that spring up at you, or ice, or maybe some, I don't know. They just could have added more to the maps than the standard metal racing arena, you know what I'm saying? So, and then with that, the good thing too, it's a very fast-paced, fun game, meaning you go through matches within like 5-10 minutes. So it's a game that you can jump on and play with your friends for a minute, play a few games, have some fun, and then dip. It's not a game that requires, you know, a couple hours of your time and your attention to really get the most out of. So it's really fun to just get in, play a few games, bop out, you're ready to rock and roll. It's super fun that way. Now, they tried to bring in a lot of characters, which is cool. All the characters have a fun, different design about them, and they gave each character a different ability when they're out of the car and when they're in the car, because each character has their own specific car they can call on after growing their car meter. But I'm going to be very honest with you guys, the characters didn't really have a unique enough ability that made it worth playing. And what I mean by that is they just had bland abilities. They didn't affect the game enough to the point where I was like, oh, I really want to be that character. That character is really OP. That character sucks. That character does this. None of the characters, in my opinion, seem to really suck, and none of them seem to be really good. In fact, a lot of their abilities you didn't really even need to use because you couldn't use. They weren't good enough to even want to use. Even their car's abilities, when you got in the character's car, it wasn't that different from a standard car that just pops up in the game that you can get into. The ability that the car has for the character cars aren't good enough to the point where I was like, yo, I cannot wait to get this character's car. It didn't really bother me. I was like, I'm just going to get in this car, this normal car, and that's all it really was. There wasn't enough, and even with that too, there wasn't enough variety in the standard vehicles. I wanted to see more variety. You got some smaller cars and some big trucks, but there wasn't more variety than really just that. I wanted to see more variety with abilities, speed, drifting, tanks, health, and durability in the cars, and there wasn't. I felt like every single car that I got into was the same car. Again, the character's car had some fun small ability you could do that maybe affected the game, but the standard cars, they were all the same, and I wanted to see more out of that. Same thing with the characters. The characters were just too bland in my opinion, along with the maps. With the characters, with the cars, with the maps, there just, in my opinion, wasn't enough variety. And speaking of enough variety, The game only comes with 4 game modes. Again, not enough variety to keep me playing for hours on end. And not only that, but only 2 of the 4 game modes are multiplayer. So when you get with your friends in a party, you can only play 2 game modes. So it's like at that point, and then 2 of them are only solo modes. So this is a game that I feel like I would really want to play with my friends. And if I do, I only have 2 options. So it's like a Carnado, and that's the funnest one out of the 2 that you can play together, and Stockpile, which is okay. And then when you're playing alone, you got Gridfall and Mayhem. And again, even in these game modes, you have, yes, an objective to do, but at the same time, like any other game, everyone really is going for like wrecks and hits and KOs, and no one's really going for the objective. And even if it does have an objective, it's not unique enough to really make it stand out. I wanted to see more variety in almost everything that I was doing, the characters, the cards, the maps, the game modes. If it had come out with more of that, I think it would have brought more attention to itself, but it just did not. So to break it down, my dudes, the pros on this game, it is very fast paced and you can get in a match and get out whenever you want to. It is free. I think that is the biggest pro here, to be honest with you. It's got fun music that makes it intense and bright colors and a fun design for everything. I just do not think that it nailed it on the head this time. They tried it and it was good for what it was, and it was free. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I think I would have returned this game if I would have spent money on it. And they planned this game to be $70 when it was supposed to come out back in November of 2020. I think that if I would have spent over $20 in the game, I would have returned it, let alone 70. So I'm glad it's free. It is free. That's what I'm going to say about it. It's free, so download, have fun with it for a little bit. Maybe have it in your library, but it's not a game that I think I'm going to be playing for hours on end. At the end of the day, my dudes, I hate to give games a score, but if we're going to go out of 10 here, I think I'm going to give the game a 4.5. Not quite hitting the 5 mark to make it super mediocre. It just didn't quite nail it. Again, it's fun, it's free, it's bright, it's fun, it's colorful. But out of the variety you get out of it, including the characters, the cars characters, the maps, and anything more, the game modes, it just wasn't enough to really keep me interested for more than maybe 2 hours. So guys, let me know down below what you guys think of Destruction All-Stars. If you got a PS5, go ahead and download it. Like I said, it's free. And let me know, guys, down below your questions, your comments, your concerns about this game. I love these conversations. And guys, again, subscribe and turn that bell on so you guys never miss a thing. We stream twice a week and we do new videos every single Friday. I will see you guys in the next video and or stream. And until then, my dudes, as always, just to go one step at a time. Thanks again.